Welcome to Code to Enhance Learning, Beginners Web Development video series. In this video series, we are learning about web development using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to create your own amazing website to express and solve your problems. Every person on earth likes to learn about something or the other. It could be related to dance, music, language, religion, math, science, etc. Thus, in this second theme, we are going to learn to make a multi-page website about different subjects that we like. In this video, we will be starting with our second theme of our course, that is different subject I like. And today we will begin our first lesson in this theme, that is content and design of multiple web page. In today's lesson, we are going to learn to create a draft of our first multiple web page. Let's make a draft of the web page in our notebooks in an abstract way like we did for the first theme. So this is what my draft looks like. Now what I want you to do is pause the video here and create a rough draft of multiple web page setup along with relevant content in your notebook. Go ahead. So now that you are done, let's continue with our lesson. I find buttons fascinating in a web page as it does something when you click it. So now let's learn to add buttons to our web page. A button tag. We can designate numerous number of functions when a button is clicked. For example, alerting something, navigating to a different web page, etc. Let's see the given example below to see how a button tag is passed in HTML. Inside the opening tag of the button, as we can see here, we write the attribute of the button tag called the event handler attribute. The event handler attribute runs the code when the event is created. For example, with the onClick event handler, the web browser will run the code to show an alert message here, which is "You are awesome," only when the button is clicked. Clicking the button is an event. We will learn more about the event handler in the upcoming lessons. Between the opening and the closing tag of the button, we write the text to be displayed on the button. Now let's go ahead and try to insert a button in our web page. Okay, so now let's create a button in our page. For that we need to create a folder and name it theme2. Now inside the folder I will be creating my first file and name it lesson5. So first let's create the basic structure of our web page. Okay, so we are done creating the structure of our web page. Now let's add our title, that is lesson 5. H1 tag will be the main heading which says magic button. So inside the p tag we are going to add our paragraph. Now we'll be adding our button tag which says click me. And now let's add our onClick event handler inside the head opening tag of the button tag. Okay, so now I am done writing the code. Let's see how it looks in the browser. So this is how a page looks like, and now when I click the button, it shows "You are awesome." So now let's start making our multiple website and adding buttons to it. So now let's go ahead and add some useful content to our web page. Inside the div tag, I am going to add the ID attribute and set it to tab. And now let's create 3 buttons. Okay, so we have created our buttons. Now let's create the rest of our page the similar way. Okay, so now we create the div tag which consists the about section of our web page. Then we add the img tag. So now we add the div tag that will contain information about our subject maths. So let's correct the indentations here. So let me add more div tags which will contain information about maths. And later on in this video, I'll show you how to add YouTube videos into our page. And so here goes our division which will contain our information about science. Let me once again correct the indentations. And here goes more div tags to contain information about science. So now we are done adding the content to our page. It's a lot of content, right? Let's see how it looks like in the browser. This is how a web page looks like after adding content to it, but it's still quite unattractive, right? Of course, it should be without the style. Let's go ahead and add style to our page. So first, I'll add style to my div tag, whose ID is tab. So let the background color be Alice blue. Then I'll set the height to 60 pixel. Next I'll give a padding of 20 pixel. Then I'll set the margin to 10 pixel. So I have successfully added style to one of the elements of our page, that is the division containing the buttons. So here it is. So let's see how it looks like initially. So this is what it looks like now. So let's get back and add style to rest of the elements of our page. So next I'm going to add style to my buttons. So now I am going to add style to the ID about, that is our div tag. Then comes the heading of our maths tab. Now the science tab heading. Here goes the style for the P tag and then the IMG tag. So now I have finished adding style to my page. So let's now open our browser to see how our page looks like. So our web page currently looks something like this right now. Let's go ahead in our lesson and learn how to add YouTube videos in our page. Now, I'll show you how you can add videos to your web page. The iframe tag. The iframe tag specifies an inline frame. The inline frame is used to embed another document within the current HTML document. We can also use the inline frame tag or the iframe tag to insert YouTube videos in our HTML page. Let me show you how. So I have opened YouTube on my browser. This is a video regarding maths. I feel this is a very informative video and I want to add this to my web page. So what I am going to do is click on the share button and click the option here which says embedded. Once I have done that, I am going to select these texts with the iframe written on it, copy them, and I am going to paste them in my Visual Studio Code app. And now I'm going to paste the link which I just copied from my YouTube here, and as you can see, this iframe tag is a bit longer, but actually we don't need these parts right now, so I'm going to delete it. Okay, this is enough for now. In a similar way, I'm going to add iframe tags for each subject here. Here goes the second YouTube video on maths. Now the first science video, and now the second video on science. So finally I'm done adding my iframe tags in my page. So let's see how it looks right now. As you can see now, our web page is looking pretty amazing, right? These are the YouTube videos we have embedded in our page using our iframe tag. Now I have an exciting practice task for you guys. It's now coding time for you. So pause the video right here, and now what I want you to do is write codes to show the content of your browser, design buttons for your multiple web page, and add YouTube videos to your page relevant to the content of the page and style it. Go for it now. So I hope you're done with it. Now let's move on with our lesson. There would be times when you would want to use the same style for different elements in a web page. We use the attribute class in such case. The HTML attribute class is used to define equal styles for elements with same class name. We have already learned in the previous lesson how to add ID attributes to our page and apply internal style sheets using the ID attributes. So class is somewhat similar to the ID attribute, except it's used to group a particular type of elements in our page that will function in the same way in our page. The following example shows that how class can be defined for equal styles. In the following example, we want red color with Verdana font for the title as well as the button text. Now, one way of doing this is by adding IDs for both of the elements, but then the code becomes a bit long and it's not nice. We can define same class for both the elements and give them a common styling property. Here, as you can see, the class magic is added to the button tag and also to the h1 tag. Now to style a class in the internal style sheet, we write full stop or a dot followed by a class name. Then add the curly braces and add style. Like here, the color is set to red. Now both our button tag and the heading tag will be in red in color. Now let's learn about some cursor properties of CSS. CSS cursor property. CSS can generate a bunch of different mouse cursors. The cursor property specifies the mouse cursor to be displayed while pointing over an element in CSS. In the table given below, you can see different types of cursor properties given. So now let's head into our Visual Studio Code app and try one of the cursor properties in our own web page. So now let's change the cursor property of our cursor when it hovers over any image in our web page. So here let's add style cursor and set it to weight. And let's see how it looks in the web page. So now when I open my web page and hover the cursor around an image, see it changes the cursor to loading or waiting. Okay, so now I have an exciting practice task for you guys to do. So pause the video right here and define at least one class in your program. Moreover, use the cursor property too. Go ahead. So I hope you are done now. Let's start with the quiz section. So you can just pause the video right here and try to solve some of these questions. Go ahead. So this will be it for this lesson, guys. We'll return to you with many more such exciting topics in the next lesson of our theme Subjects I Like. To keep getting updates for such awesome new videos we post, press the subscribe button and click the bell icon. If you like the video, press the thumbs up button. So I am Rishabh from Code to Enhance Learning signing off for today. Hope to see you in the next lesson of Web Development video series for beginners. Thank you.